What's going on, guys? Mia here. So if you're looking for the best advice on how to get freelance projects, what it's like working in the creative industry, and I've created this channel to help other people, to share my experience on what it's like to get projects, what kind of projects are the best to work on, basically the ones that last a long time, and basically to talk about the freelance career. So hit that like, if you like this content, hit that like, subscribe to my channel, or check out other videos on different topics on my channel. And also feel free to check out the courses that I have in the description below. Now, let's go to today's topic. Freelancing versus having a full-time job. Now, let's start with today's topic, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this. Freelancing or working a full-time job. Now, in my case, I prefer freelancing. Now, it all depends on your situation and on your ability to get awesome projects that last for a long time. I chose freelancing a long time ago because it gives me more freedom. It allows me to work on more projects simultaneously, and basically it also allows me to be more flexible on the kinds of projects that I get. And also it's a good way if you want to work on more projects than basically just one, and make more money. On the other hand, working a full-time job also has a lot of advantages. You have some job security, you don't have to market yourself, you don't have to go to client meetings to maybe get potential new projects, because so for some people it might be a good idea to get a full-time job, but it all depends on your personal preference. Now, the strange thing here is that freelancing is not for everybody, because if you take a look at the amount of time it takes to get a freelance project, basically you have to get in touch with the client or they get in touch with you. You have to go over the initial consultation that can be via a Skype call or in an in-person meeting or some Google Hangouts meetings. But getting a freelance project takes a lot of time. There's a lot of things that have to happen before you actually get your proposal approved and you start working on that project. So that can be somewhere from a couple of hours to maybe a couple of weeks, because all depending on the project and how long the client needs, how much trust you have with the client, how long the client needs to decide to get you the initial briefing and all that kind of stuff. So if you really take a look at it, if you want a full-time job, you basically apply for an interview, you go to the interview that lasts, I don't know, it can last an hour or two, or maybe some bigger companies have this really rigorous process, this really rigorous onboarding process where you have to go through some tests or a couple of interviews. But if you take a look at the amount of time on average, how much it takes to start a freelance project or to basically get a full-time job, it really there isn't that much difference, you know, because maybe you need a couple of days of consultations and stuff like that to get a good freelance project, and you also need a couple of interviews or maybe a couple of consultations to get a full-time job. But the difference here is that once you get a freelance project, you will actually work on that project, and that's basically it. Once the project is completed, maybe the client doesn't need any more of your work at that time. Maybe they will need it down the line, but there is no guarantee that will happen. So once that project is completed, you basically have to go look for another one, or if you're lucky and you already have another project, you start working on that one. But in the freelance world, you always have to consult with people, talk to new clients, write proposals and stuff like that. And you don't have to do all of those things if you have a full-time job. You just go to work, you know exactly what you're working on, and you just start work on that, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours a day, depending on your company, maybe more, maybe less, all depending on different specifications. But the point of this video that I wanted to talk about today is that it really, if you want to work as a freelancer, it really takes a lot of your time talking to clients, maybe looking for potential new clients, getting in touch with them. So there's a lot of, there's the business side of things, takes a lot of time versus if you're working in a steady full-time job, you don't have to worry about any of these things. So really keep that in mind when deciding if you want to be a freelancer or if you want to work a full-time job. Now, if you look at this, if you're a freelancer, it really doesn't make sense to work on small projects that last for a week or 14 days because you will have all that business and marketing hassle again when you want to get the next project. That's why that's why as a freelancer, I really prefer working on projects that last for a long time. So for example, if I invest 2 weeks talking with the client, consulting with them, sending them the proposal, and all this back and forth before a project is started, I really prefer to have a contract or to work with them for at least a couple of months, if not for a year or more. That's why I specifically like to work on projects that are developing some products. Maybe some applications, UX design, for example, is needed basically through the whole development process of an application. Or maybe with some clients that constantly need marketing materials because they're constantly active on the marketing front. And when I decide which client to work with as a freelancer, I'm really looking for gigs that will last a long time so that I can really focus on that job and that also I get some income security because if you work, for example, with app developers as an outsource freelancer, you can basically have something that's similar to a full-time job because you get paid every month or something like that, depending on your contract. But if you have a full-time job, all of that, you don't have to worry about any of those things. Now, the only difference is that full-time jobs today aren't as secure as they used to be 40 years ago or 30 years ago. So even if you have a full-time job, you never know. The company decides to, like if you're working for a startup, maybe they get acquired and there's a restructuring process in any kind. So basically you can be out of a job in really fast. That's why freelancing and having freelance skills, having skills for getting new clients is always a good idea, at least to have some experience with that. Because getting a client for freelancing, getting a client that you want to freelance for, or getting a regular job, at least in the creative industry, or it's basically the same, really similar with programming and any kind of stuff related to IT. It takes the same amount of time and basically the skill is really similar, because if you're trying to work, if you're talking with the client to work as a freelancer with them, you have to introduce yourself, you have to show them your portfolio, talk about your previous work and how that relates to their work. So basically every kind of freelance gig is somewhat of a job interview that you have to do anyway. So if you're a freelancer, and you want to get a full-time job, it's basically much easier. You have a really good edge over your competition because you've already been a freelancer, you know how to talk to clients, you know what the clients want. So if you apply those skills, those communication skills to your job interview, you will have a much bigger chance of getting a full-time job if that's what you actually wish for. If you want to have a full-time job, and it's much easier to apply for that because you know the industry, you work on a lot of different projects, and it really gives you that specter of that wider outlook on things. So those are my thoughts on it. So if you're thinking about going freelance, really keep that in mind and really decide on how much time you want to invest in getting a project versus how long the project will take. I found in my 10 years plus experience of working freelance that the best projects are the projects that last a longer time. So if you're considering going freelance or you're considering a full-time job, keep these things in mind, because if you want to be a freelancer, you really want to be as effective as possible. Because if you're constantly wasting time on getting new projects, talking to clients, and you're constantly in meetings, that doesn't actually make you money. What makes you money is the time that you invest in actually delivering that product and those hours that you work on that product. So keep that in mind if you're considering freelancing. I hope this advice was helpful to you guys. Feel free, if you like the content, give me a like or subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to check out the other videos that I have on my channel on different topics on freelancing and working in the creative industry. And also, if you're interested in learning a bit more about how to get clients, feel free to check my course in the description below. So that's it, guys, for today. Thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.